Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a ranking of another horror franchise, and I will be doing Halloween. Now, I'm only going to be doing the movies that I watched fully, so I'm not going to be doing the Rob Zombie remakes, nor am I going to do Halloween 3. I have seen clips on YouTube, and let's just say I'm not going to watch either of them fully. Now, I do have the Now, you already know from a horror movie collection, I have the double feature that has Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, but I didn't never get to watch Halloween 3 because it doesn't have Michael in it. It really doesn't. It will this it doesn't have Michael in it. The story does not involve Michael, Loomis, or Laurie. So just for this, it has a Halloween Tower in it, and it has nothing to do with the whole story with Michael. I was like, I'm not gonna waste my time. But I have seen clips of it, and from what I've seen regarding like the clips of it, it looks cool. It looks fine. Um, the remakes, I've seen clips of it, and I will definitely not watch it because, and if I would watch it, they'll be ranked low on my list because first of all, I have many problems with it. My main thing is, um, they ruined the mystery of Michael becoming a killer and why he started killing. Especially he killed his sister. It's like in the original. Well, I'll compared to the original, there was no mystery for Michael. In the remake, he was bullied, he was abused by his family, including his sister. So like you already knew he was going to end up killing people and snapping. So like that ruined the mystery, and also he talked in both movies. Michael never talked, not even as a child, much less when he was an adult. He never talked, so that made no sense to me, but it's whatever. But anyway, let's go to the ranking. I will be going from like the worst or like my least favorite to the best, which is my favorite. And this is my opinion, and this is my ranking. So if you agree or disagree, you can let me know in the comments, and you can also let me know on what your ranking is. But don't be disrespectful because I will block you just like that. If you be disrespectful and be rude, or because I don't, or because the order I have in is not the same order that you have, or because you have favorites within the franchise. So anyway. So at the bottom, which is my least favorite, which I believe is the worst, is Halloween Resurrection. Do I need to say much about this movie? For the fact that it has Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes in it alone, should say on how much this movie sucks. Much less Busta Rhymes doing kung fu onto Michael. Like really? And not to mention a whole bunch of the characters literally have nothing going on with them. Like they have no personality or like no kind of character with them. Like not even the final girl. So yeah, uh, but anyway, but let's move on. Now the one above Resurrection is the curse of Mike is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Is better than Resurrection in some aspects. For instance, like the atmosphere, and I liked how Michael looks, especially with the mask. But the story sucks. I was not feeling the whole cult thing. It made no sense to me, and also with the other version of like him, like pretty much raping his own niece. I was not with it. I was not with it. I was not with any of that, and with him bringing in Tommy back, I didn't mind Tommy being back, and I didn't mind Paul Rudd being as Tommy. He did fine as Tommy. I didn't mind it, and it was nice to see Loomis, in the film and more sane compared to the fourth and fifth one. And sadly, it was the last time we saw Loomis, well, until Halloween ends. Well, not Halloween ends, Halloween Kills. but of like the actual actor playing Loomis being in the movie before he passed later that year. But yeah, Curse, but the film does have a lot of good kills. It has a lot of good kills. I will give them that. But the whole thing with the cold and then like the whole lab thing, it made no sense to me. Now above part six is H2O. I know a lot of people love H2O. I don't hate it. It is a pretty it's a pretty good Halloween film, but in my opinion, I don't care for H2O compared to the other ones that are in the list, like the other ones above it. I love seeing Jamie Lee Curtis back as Laurie, and she did amazing in the film. And I feel like the characters are pretty likable, and I like the characters, and I feel like that was pretty good. I did not care for them. I did not care for um, the Michael, and I hated the masks, especially the CGI mask. It was awful. It has some pretty decent kills, and I liked the way it ended with the final showdown between Michael and Laurie, and then Laurie chopping off Michael's head off. Which, to be honest, if they did end the franchise that way, I wouldn't be mad at it. To be honest, but I just didn't care for it, especially since like it came in '98, came out 2 years after Scream, so it was given very much Scream vibes. It was like if a Scream, it was giving me very much Scream, except that it has Laurie and Michael in it. Especially since like the house that they had set in, that was the same house they used for Scream 3. But yeah, and and also they even used the same music or like score that they used in the original Scream, because they had the guy who made the music for the Scream for the Scream films do the score and the music for H2O. But let's move on. The one above it is Halloween Kills. Now, I don't hate Halloween Kills. I actually do like it. But in my opinion, out of the new trilogy of like Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills is my least favorite. It's my least favorite because, well, don't get me wrong, I do love a lot of the flashbacks they had of like the original, between the original and like what's happening right now, or like what's happening currently in the film. Like, I love those flashbacks, especially like the ones that wasn't really in the original, but they kind of tried to integrate it. Like this happened like after Michael did those killings, in the original film. I did like that, and I liked how they made how they made like how they made him look like the original Michael, from the original film. I like that, um, but a lot of the side character, not really a lot. Yeah, the side characters, mainly the mob, got on my nerves. The mob got on my nerves. I was at first I was, at first I was into with the whole mob thing, like the whole town's over it and they want to go after Michael, but it's like they became too reckless too quickly, and they thinking like someone that's shorter and got more weight than Michael, and is even balding and has like longer hair and it doesn't even look like Michael. They are thinking it's Michael and chased him, and then homie jumped off the roof and died. Well, not the roof, but he jumped through a window like on the top floor. I think top floor or almost on the top floor, and then jumped, and that's how he died. I was not. That was at the point where I was like, I was over the mob, and I was like, you know what, I might go kill y'all. And then they was making a lot of dumb decisions. Like besides the whole thing with the other patient, it was like for example, Marion, which by the way I do love that they brought back a lot of characters from the original, like Marion, Lindsay, and Tommy, even though technically it's not the actor who played Tommy in the original. But I love that they brought back Tommy. But they was making a lot of dumb decisions. At like Marion just constantly shooting and not really waiting until Michael got close enough to her to start shooting at her. Got close enough so that she could shoot him, but she just kept on wasting bullets, and it was annoying. And then the black woman who dressed up as a nurse, she was shooting, but she wasn't shooting at nothing. She just kept on shooting at the car, but she wasn't hitting Michael, and it was like another one that's wasting bullets. But there are side characters that I loved. That made me laugh. I loved that elderly couple. They were funny, and I felt so bad for them when Michael went after them and brutally killed the man, and killed the woman. I said in quotes. I'll mention it in when I talk about how Halloween ends. But yeah, and I also loved the gay couple. I lived for when there was a gay couple, but once I found out that they were living in Michael's house, or Michael's old house, I said, "Oh, well, they're gonna die." but they did make me laugh. Big John, Little John, that was too funny. And I loved how they redeemed characters I did not like in Halloween. Wasn't it? I would say Laurie's daughter and Laurie's granddaughter's boyfriend. Karen and Cameron, I think. But yeah, I'm glad that they redeemed them because I could not stand them in the previous film. And I love that they redeemed them, but then as soon as they redeemed them in Halloween Kills, then they kill them off. It's like, really? But yeah, and also speaking of kills, the kills were really brutal. It was really brutal. I just kept going, oh. But yeah, even I like the film. Well, again, even I like the film. It's my least favorite out of the new trilogy. Now above Halloween Kills is the previous film, Halloween, which came out in 2018, which was the first movie of the new franchise. The reason why I like this more was because of the music, like the score. The score was amazing, and I loved the atmosphere of it. I felt like the atmosphere was much better in this film than how it was with Halloween Kills. I just loved it. And even though I could not stand Karen and Cameron, it still didn't take away from the film, or maybe like the film, or it did not deteriorate the film for me compared to how the mob did with Halloween Kills. Because at least Karen wasn't making like dumb decisions. It's like when she needed to, she shot Michael in the face, and then she helped her mom and her daughter fight Michael off. So there's that, and then Cameron, even though he made me mad for how he did Allison, I was like bye, but he didn't make any dumb decisions. So, but yeah, it's just more like I liked the atmosphere more, and I liked the score, and I loved the score. And yeah, that's about it. And this is the first time we've seen Laurie since Laurie, like Jamie Lee Curtis, back in the Halloween franchise since Resurrection, and I felt like she did good. I felt like she did good in Halloween Kills too, but of course she couldn't do much with Halloween Kills because Laurie was stabbed and she just had surgery, so it's like realistically she couldn't really do anything like that. So, but in Halloween she was able to do a lot, and Jamie did really good on portraying like the trauma that Laurie has in, and how much it not only has affected her, but how it has affected her life, the relationship she's been in, and the relationship that she has with her daughter and granddaughter. I love that. But yeah, moving on. Above that is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, I know a lot of people hate this film. I know a lot of people hate this film, especially when it first came out. A lot of people hate it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people still hate this film, but um, I'm not gonna lie. I I kind of love this film. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm not gonna lie. It is a guilty pleasure horror film of mine. I just love it. I know that Tina annoyed people. Tina didn't really annoy me, to be honest. Tina didn't really irritate me. I kind of like Tina. She didn't bother me as much as she had, as much as she bothered other people that have seen the film. But yeah, she didn't bother me. I loved I loved Daniel Daniel's acting as Jamie in this one, like the trauma she's gone through and the fear that she has. I love the whole final act. Well, I'll say the chase sequence. That part, the chase sequence. The chase sequences, I'll say, involving Jamie and Michael, and the one involving Tina as well, like with the car, and that I just loved it, and even though it was the start of like the Curse of Thorn, they didn't go as far with the as they did with Halloween 6 with the whole cult thing. So the whole course of Curse of the Thorn thing, since it was on the beginning, it didn't bother me that much. Except for the ending, I did not like the ending. Like Michael being arrested, and then the person who was wearing black, who didn't show his face, helped bust him out, and then eventually kidnapped Jamie. That I was like, that was a dumb ending for a Halloween film, but whatever. Um, yeah, there was some decent. There was a few decent kills. However, I did wish that Rachel didn't die as soon as she did. I would have loved for Rachel. Well, if Rachel, I wish they would have Rachel survive. But if they would have her die, I would have her die kind of like the way Tina died, like putting like blocking Michael to help save Jamie and get stabbed. I would prefer that the way she died, like the way Tina did, not the way that she did in the film. When Michael just all of a sudden appeared and just stabbed her with scissors. But yeah. What else? Um, that's nothing else regarding the fifth movie. So let's move on. Above it is Halloween 4. Halloween 4 is definitely better than Halloween 5. Regarding of, I get like it went back to basics. I mean, Halloween 5 kind of did. Well, not really, because they added some new elements to it that kind of started like kind of like a phase of Halloween that was just like bleh. But yeah, Halloween 4 was back to basics. I love the atmosphere of it. Um, Michael looked scary. I loved how the acting was for the character of Jamie and Rachel too. I loved the dynamic, and I loved how Rachel was willing to protect Jamie. It was like the sibling aspect before Child's Play 2, but basically. Um, but yeah. Also, before I forget, on Halloween 5, Loomis got on my last nerve. I could not stand Loomis with how aggressive he was with Jamie. I could not stand it. Halloween 4, he wasn't as bad. He wasn't that bad. I could tolerate. I still like Loomis in 4. But yeah. It definitely had some good kills. But yeah. Up next, the third best. Well, I'm going to the top 3 now. So number 3, which is the third best, which is also my third favorite, is Halloween Ends. I love Halloween Ends. I loved the atmosphere of it, and I loved how different it was compared to the other films. I loved how different it was, but it still had Michael and Laurie in it. Like I know Halloween 3 was different than the other Halloween films, but it's like the thing is that Halloween 3 has nothing to do with the story of Michael and Laurie. Halloween Ends has something to Halloween Ends still involves the story of Michael and Laurie, but it was still different than the other films. Like I loved the whole thing with Corey, and they added more layers to the character of Allison. I love the kills. The whole sequence with the bullies getting killed, that was so satisfying for me because I could not stand them, except for the girl with the curly hair. At least she was sympathetic. But anyway, um, but yeah, I enjoyed Halloween Ends. I can understand why people hated it because they kind of expected it to be strictly just like again like Laurie and Michael along with Allison, like Michael going against Laurie and Allison in general, and then there was just a whole bunch of side characters getting killed off. But because Halloween Ends was so different, people hated it. I can understand it, but it's just like I still love it because of how different it was. Just like how I love Scream 6 because Scream 6 was different. It was pretty different compared to the previous Scream movies. But yeah, they made my. I loved the whole thing of like Corey starting to become like Michael, like his powers kind of went to Corey when he looked into like Corey's eyes, and also like when we first see Michael was like weak, but then as he started killing more and more, he started getting more strength. I liked that. I like that. And I like the whole battle between Laurie and Michael. Granted, it could have lasted a little bit longer, but I still loved it. I still enjoyed it. I thought that like it made me actually think that they were gonna kill Laurie, but no, they killed Michael. And I mean, actually killed Michael. Like stabs and then slices and then threw him into a meat grinder. Now they better not try to make another one because if they try to make another one, then I'm gonna be like, okay, if y'all gonna try to make another one, it has to. It will make no sense. It will make no sense because of how they were able to finally get rid of Michael. That made no sense. But also another thing I love about Halloween Ends is it shows the trauma from it shows the trauma that the town went through from the previous two Halloween movies. From the previous film, from the two previous films, it shows the trauma that they went through and how they are trying to live with it and cope with it. Like going after Lloyd multiple times and just blaming her and just treating her badly, which irritated the hell out of me, but it's fine. But I just loved how it just showed the trauma that the town has went through, and how they have been coping with it and how they've been living with it. But let's move on. Now, my second favorite, which I believe is the second best, is the original Halloween sequel, Halloween 2, that came out in 1981. This one is, in my opinion, the best sequel of the franchise. I feel like it was a really good follow up to the first one, and I loved how it was a continuation of what happened in the first film. Like, it happened within the same night. Like, it was like kind of like a part two of what happened um, after Michael escaped. I loved that, and I loved Michael. Michael was scary. I loved how they used the original mask, but because of what it's been through um, during the filming of Halloween and between Halloween and Halloween 2, it looks different. But yeah, I just loved how they made Michael look. Michael was just a non-stopping killing machine, and I just loved it. Jamie was really good in it. I loved Dr. Loomis in it. I loved that they brought Dr. Marion back. I loved the whole thing with the hospital being set. The kills were really good, more bloody and more brutal compared to the original film. But yeah, and the whole twist of Laurie being Michael's sister, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the twist. Um, I'm pretty sure a lot of people was like, "What?" Like in the past, but but I didn't mind. But I liked the twist. But yeah, and I loved the atmosphere of it. I know people have said that it can be kind of slow and boring at some parts, which I can understand it. But I still liked it. But the my one of my problems with I have a couple problems with it. Um, my first problem is the wig they put on Jamie. That wig was so dry. It needed some moisture. It needs some moisture because that wig was dry, and it was looking thirsty, child. It was looking thirsty. It was a real bad wig. I was like, y'all could have given them y'all's main star at least a better wig than that. But and also the way the Marshall died, even though it's a throat slit and it's a classic, it was just him being dumb and him getting close to Michael and Dr. Loomis just telling him multiple times to get away from him. It's like, are you dumb or something? But yeah. Anyway, now let's move on to my favorite, which I believe is the best one, which should not come as a surprise to anyone. Is the original Halloween from 1978. What can I say about the original Halloween? That basically started the whole franchise. It basically kicked down the doors for the slasher genre, and it just started a very popular killer in a popular franchise. Like and the mystery of Michael was was what made the film was one of the things that helped the film was one of the things that made the film really good because it's like you don't know why Michael was killing people and including his own sister when he was 6. You don't know how he is so strong and why he can't be put down no matter what no matter what the characters do to him. Like it's that mystery that scares you, and that's why I won't watch the remakes because especially the first remake because the first Rob Zombie remake because it ruined the mystery. But anyway, Laurie did amazing with him being. Laurie was amazing. Jamie did great in the role, especially with it being her first movie role. She did really good, and that's how she became a scream queen and like a horror movie icon. And even though the kills wasn't it's not really that bloody, I love the atmosphere of it. I love the suspense, and of course the score, the iconic score, and so many iconic shots that we and also Dr. Sam Loomis, Donald Pleasance, always great as him. But this is my favorite version of him from the first Halloween. So yeah. Well, there goes my ranking. Comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know if you agree or disagree with my ranking, and also let me know how you would rank the franchise of the movies from worst to best. But again, don't be disrespectful if you disagree, because I will block you just like that. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.